Coming up tonight on YCN News, 3 ninth graders from Kearsarge Regional High School are being honored for their work in a national engineering program. Governor Maggie Hassan signed 2 bills into law today, including Joshua's Law, and the cause of the Easter Sunday fire that destroyed a 200-year-old convent in Claremont may never be known. For more news and weather and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening and welcome to this Thursday edition of YCN News. I'm Erin McClory. 3 ninth graders from Kearsarge Regional High School are being honored for their work in a national engineering program. Governor Maggie Hassan congratulated Elise Paquette, Maddie Cook, and Kara Bartlett. High school math teacher Randy Warmald oversaw the girls' project. The student trio placed 3rd in the nation in a transportation and civil engineering competition among grade 9 and 10 high school students. Inspiring more young women to become engineers, including civil engineers, is part of the TRACK program. The students' project has real-world results, as New Hampshire State Transportation Director Chris Clement explains.
The TRACK program, TRAC, is a program where students at different levels, in this case it's 9th and 10th grade, compete in a bridge design competition where they actually build the bridges out of popsicle sticks and then they bring it to a device where we actually plastic deformate and then try to destroy the bridge to see how it holds up. It allows the students to not only use their hands and build, but it also allows the students to use the calculations that they've done in class to see if these materials will hold up to the test, and hopefully ultimately when failure occurs you learn from it and then you redesign. TRACK is a nationwide program. All 50 states have it. New Hampshire's been very active in it. Minnesota is even more so. But it's a program that's, from a funding perspective, we need to keep our eye on, because not all states participate, and the other states that are having to more or less pick up the slack financially to keep the program going.
The students demonstrated their project's worth during this National Design Build competition on May 28th in Louisville, Kentucky. With their 3rd place finish, Paquette, Cook, and Bartlett each received a $200 prize for their work. And they're not resting on any laurels. These young ladies plan to come back even stronger in next year's competition, set for Wyoming. Governor Maggie Hassan signed 2 bills into law today, including Joshua's Law. It's been almost a year since 9-year-old Joshua Savon was killed by his father during a supervised visit in Manchester. The bill applies to domestic violence across the state. Joshua's mother, Becky Rains, stood next to Hassan as the bill was signed into law. This new law brings New Hampshire in line with other states regarding what can be done to prevent domestic abuse and violence. This law aims to allow police and prosecutors to better identify repeat acts of abuse. Victims will have more access to support and protection from an abuser. Senator Donna Soucy sponsored the bill, which received bipartisan support. She is a Democrat from Manchester. In addition, a bill to protect the elderly and disabled residents from financial exploitation is now law. House Bill 1555 also received bipartisan support from legislatures earlier this year. New Hampshire State Rep. Catherine Rogers, a Democrat from Concord, sponsored the bill, a bill that Hassan says will protect the state's most vulnerable residents. Victims Advocates lobbied for the bill's passage, which Hassan describes as common sense legislation. A person convicted of cheating an elderly, disabled, or mentally impaired adult out of money faces a fine. A mandatory prison sentence for a second or subsequent conviction also will be enforced, the bill notes. The law takes effect January 1st, 2015. The Vermont congressional delegation is on record opposing any intervention in Iraq by the U.S. Vermont Public Radio reports independent Senator Bernie Sanders and Democrat Congressman Peter Welch agree a regional solution in the Middle East is one way to resolve increasing conflicts among different factions in Iraq. It's not a conflict that the U.S. military can resolve, they say. Democrat and the dean of the delegation, Senator Patrick Leahy, says airstrikes against any warring groups in Iraq should not be done by the U.S. military. Leahy did not support U.S. troops invading Iraq in March of 2003. He remains firm in his belief then and now. President Barack Obama has not made any commitments of U.S. troops yet, although up to 300 soldiers could be sent as special advisors. There is little to no support for U.S. boots on the ground in Iraq, congressional records note. The cause of the Easter Sunday fire that destroyed a 200-year-old convent in Claremont may never be known. The New Hampshire State Fire Marshal's office tells the E-Ticker News that what caused the 2 a.m. blaze on April 20th at St. Mary's Convent cannot be determined. On a positive note, there is no evidence yet that the fire was deliberately set. The 3-story building has been vacant for many years. What traits would the Claremont community like to see in its next appointed school board members? That's what the board's members want to know before choosing between 2 candidates, Andrew O'Hearn and Paul Lacasse. 6 board members Wednesday night asked 7 questions of each applicant during separate interviews. Questions focused on how to get more parents involved in the school system and children's education, and their philosophy on public education. The board met in a closed session, as allowed by law, to discuss whether O'Hearn or Lacasse would be the better candidate. The board could not reach a consensus, with 3 votes for O'Hearn and 3 for Lacasse. The board will try to make a decision at its next meeting on July 16th. The vacancy exists because former board member Kristen Keniston is taking on greater roles as Lebanon's new deputy clerk. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Erin McClory. This weekend in Brattleboro, Vermont, a special film festival will be taking place. YCN stopped by the theater this week to speak with the program director, John Scagliotti, to learn more. Let's take a look.
I'm John Scagliotti. I'm the program director of CineSlam, which is the Vermont LGBT Short Film Festival, which takes place during Pride Week. So every June there is Pride Month and big parades around the country. And here in Vermont, we now celebrate it and have a festival, film festival, and a Pride dance. So that's part of our Pride presentation. So this is our 9th year showing films here at the Hooker Dunham Theater. And we have a selection of shorts that we show that really represent what we like to think of as the L, G, B, and T. All those things are covered in our shorts presentation. This is the 45th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, so it's an important year for us. 45 years ago, there were riots in New York City in which the gay patrons of a bar called Stonewall refused to be arrested, and that is considered the sort of modern day moment for the LGBT rights movement. The films we choose are quite diverse, so we have animation, we have narrative, and we have documentary. One of the best narrations that we're showing is called Beyond the Mirror's Gaze. And this is an incredible film in which there's a play on gender and what it would be like if you could replace body parts, fluidity, and who you were and how you would present yourself. So Irene Moore from Montreal entered this film, and it's really quite a lovely short film. One of my favorite filmmakers is a guy named Casper Andreas, and he's from Sweden. He sent us this short called Last Farewell. And it is about an older gentleman who has recently lost his partner of many years and the trauma in that. It is so well executed and so well filmed. He's really an incredible filmmaker, so he put a lot of thought in writing and in picture taking and in acting in this short. And finally, our big final film that we're really excited about is Lavender Hill. And Lavender Hill is about a commune, a gay commune that sort of started in the early 70s in upstate New York, and it is taken from the perspective of their 40th anniversary. Not that they continued as a commune for 40 years, but many of the members come back after 40 years and tell this story of what it was like building a house on land as a group of gay and lesbian folks. And it's a wonderful film. It's done by Austin Boone. So we hope that you'll join us here at the Hooker Dunham in Brattleboro on Saturday, June 21st at 7:30 p.m.
The Hooker Dunham Theater is located at 139 Main Street in Brattleboro, Vermont. To purchase tickets for the festival, go to their website at cineslam.com. The website notes that attendees of the festival must be 18 years or older. Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Erin McClory. Now Matt McDonald will have a look at our weather for the next few days and then move on to sports.
Thanks, Aaron. Tonight we'll have clear skies with lows around 48 degrees. Friday will be sunny with a high of 72 degrees. Friday night will be mostly clear with a low around 44 degrees. Saturday will be mostly sunny with a high near 77. Saturday night will be mostly clear with a low around 50. And now it's time to take a look at our community calendar. Tomorrow, Bellows Falls will hold its farmers market at 4 p.m. Charlestown will have an orchestra concert at the Charlestown Senior Center at 6:30 p.m. And there'll be karaoke at the Mole Hill Theater in Allsted starting at 8 p.m. Remember, you can submit events from your area by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Now let's look at Fisher Cats news. The Fisher Cats won last night against Altoona 6-5. Tuesday night, the Fisher Cats lost in a 2-4 defeat. Tonight, the team is slated to face Altoona for the third time. The game starts at 7:05 p.m. at the Fisher Cats home stadium in Manchester. Friday, the Fisher Cats will begin a 3-game series at Trenton. We will bring you the latest on these games.